you're doing well. And today we are going to talk about the promises. And we are going to create a promise object and how it is behaving and what is the advantage of promise. Slowly we can learn. Okay, in one video we can't learn all the things, but we can start from this video. So in the previous sessions we have covered what is the problems with callbacks if you don't handle properly. Callbacks are very helpful, even promises also. We are using callback functions. But if the task, suppose if you see, suppose if we have four asynchronous tasks, okay, task one and task two, okay, if these tasks are asynchronous and dependent. So if you don't have a dependency, no problem. Callbacks we can handle easily with the callbacks. But if these are asynchronous at the same time, the task 2 is depends on task 1 results, and if task 3 depends on task 2 results, and if task 4 is depends on task 3 results. So if you want to implement those kind of the callback chains, then it will be either you will go to the callback hell, or we can say that's a pyramid of doom, and you will lose the control. Okay, in the last video we have discussed about all these things. Okay, so now we are going to enter into the promises. Okay, interested? Yes, definitely. This topic, okay, if you just listen, it's not that much easy to understand. The thing is, just open your laptop. Okay, first understand what I'm saying and then immediately do practice. Okay, because the syntax is somewhat difficult if you don't do practice. If you do practice, it's easy. Easy means easy. Okay, let's see. So simple, a promise is just a simple object, and it will um, the holder um, eventually it will decide like asynchronous calls state, like either it will be fulfilled or it will be failed. Okay, so no problem. So we can take an example so that it's going to be very easy. So I'm going to create the promise now. Okay, constant promise object. Okay, we are saying that promise is an object, right? That's why I'm mentioning like a promise object. And how to create a promise? Yes, we can create our own promises. This is a simple thing. So this is, right, if you know a class, you can create an object with the help of class or constructor functions. Do you remember constructor functions? That is very important. Of course, constructor functions and classes are both are same. Only syntax wise, classes are much more easy. That's it. Other than that, JavaScript using constructor functions only. Okay, fine. Here, observe carefully. The syntax is difficult. This the promise. Okay, this is the constructor function, and it is expecting one callback function. Okay, that's why I'm just giving callback function. Done. Simple. Okay. Please do practice. Then only it's easy. So in this object, in this promise object, okay, in this the parenthesis, what we are doing, we are just giving a callback function. And here it has a two arguments. It has a two arguments by default. So this is very interesting. One is resolved, another one is reject. Okay, I will tell you what is the use of resolve and what is the use of reject. Very soon we are going to discuss. Okay, here we can take some example, that task one, because task one we are talking about, these are asynchronous things, right? Asynchronous means it will take some time to execute, or it will take some time to reach the server and bring the results. So right now what we can do, if we want to execute something after some delay, we know we have a set timers, right? With the help of set timers we can replicate the same situation. So here I'm just doing the set timeout. Okay, set timeout. Okay, set timeout will expect, again it will expect a callback function. So this is our exact task one. Okay, And right now I'm just giving 10,000 milliseconds. Okay, 10,000 milliseconds means 10 seconds. Okay, the simple thing. I hope you understand the syntax. Promise object new. You're calling the class or constructor function, and this is a callback function we have given to this promise constructor. Now inside that we are building our task one. Okay, simple, nothing is there here. I'm just doing console.log. Okay, suppose what you will do you will call the REST APIs naturally. Sorry. Okay, you are calling the REST API, so I'm just writing I'm calling the REST API. Suppose example, get users details or something. Okay, get user, simple. After 10,000 milliseconds we can say the task is done. Okay, what is the responsibility of this REST API? It should go to the server and it should bring the user ID, login user ID or something. So just imagine that. So I'm just taking a variable, let the user ID. Okay, normally if you want to get a user ID here, you need to write API dot get, and you should pass the URL, and once it is executed it will return the user ID, right? So here, okay, instead of doing all the toughest thing directly, just imagine, okay, if it is successful you will get a user ID like 101. Okay, 101. So I will tell you, if we got the error, what we will do. If we get the right result, what we need to do. So here we should decide. So if, okay, if you got the user ID from the REST API, that means if it is not undefined, we are happy, right? That is a success. That is a success. Okay, so whenever it is successful, what you need to do, you don't need to write like console.log I'm successful or something. So just give that responsibility of that result to resolve. Okay, this is something different. But when this resolve will take care of fulfilled things, the reject will take care of the failure things. So here we have two persons. Okay, if you got the result, if you got the value, you should hand over that to resolve. Okay, why we need to hand over to the resolve, I will explain, don't worry. And if you got any error, if you got any error, please hand over that error object or error details to reject. Simple, that is also a callback function. So if you see what I'm doing, if we got the successful, that means we got the user ID doing after calling the REST API. So just give it that result. What is the result? You got the user ID. That's it, right? 101. Suppose in case you didn't get the result, so you didn't get the results. If you don't get the result, it will be a undefined, right? So here, that's why I'm just putting the else condition. If user ID don't have a value, it will come into the else block. At the time, no problem. Just take the result. Reject. Reject is again a function, callback function. Just give your error details. Okay, error details right now. We can give a error message. Okay, not naturally we will get something went wrong. Okay, sometimes the people who are working server side, if they don't know what to return for that situation, simply they will send a message like something went wrong. They don't say that what went wrong. Okay, sometimes, always this is a discussion with the front end team and the back end team, that okay, please, back end team, okay, instead of sending something went wrong, please tell me what is went wrong. Okay, that's a better thing, right? So okay, we can take that something went wrong here. So simple thing. I hope we have created our first promise. Simple. We are calling some REST API internally, and if you got the result, okay, here if you see this task 2 will depend on task 1 result. That means it will depend on this user ID. So we need to pass this user ID to task 2. That's why we are building that. Okay, so we can do that one later. Now coming videos. So if you see, now we should understand what is there in that in this promise object, and what the hell is this resolve working, what the hell is this reject is doing. So no problem, just wait. So I'm just doing console.log. Okay, this is the start of the program. Okay, it's the start. Okay, and you should remember JavaScript doesn't wait for anyone in the world. Time also, so if you waste the time, okay, that will never come back. Okay, end. Okay, let's see. So after invoking this a new promise, we will get some details into the promise object. Let's see what is there in that promise object. That is very interesting. Console.log. Okay, what is there in the promise object? Okay, before checking in the browser, I will show you one thing. What is there in the promise? Okay, if you see, this promise object holds two things. Okay, the state of that asynchronous call and result. State means whether it is a pending, or whether it is completed, or whether it is rejected. That means if something went wrong, or meanwhile if you face any network issue, if that the request didn't complete properly, at the time it will handle like a reject, it will reject it simply. And result, what is the result? If you see, when the state is pending, naturally the result is undefined, right? And if it is fulfilled, okay, if you send a REST API to the server, that if that is successful, you will get the result. Okay, that result value you will hold in the result. And if it is rejected, naturally we will get a error details, that is error object. Okay, understood? Simple. So this is, so promise maintain two things. One is the state of the asynchronous call and result of that asynchronous call. And state may be three things: one is pending, fulfilled, rejected. Anything happen. If it is pending, the result is undefined. If it is fulfilled, happily it will give a result to you. If it is rejected, it will throw an error object, and you should handle it. Okay, we should handle it. Okay, of course it's going to be a long discussion. Step by step we are going to understand. So for now, we are going to see and things in the browser. Okay, always it's very important to cross check what's happening in the browser. So just refresh. Okay, we got the start and the promise, the pending state. Mhm, fantastic. I have given 10,000 milliseconds delay. Oh, fantastic. It has done. It has done. Calling REST API, get user done. Okay, get user done. Okay. Where is that result? I need the result, right? We need the result. Otherwise, what is the use of learning these promises? I said, okay, you got the result. And if it is 101, I said, I just given hand over the result to the resolve. Okay, by trusting Raghu's word. Otherwise, I will do console.log. We got the result happily that user ID is 101, and I will call another REST API here, the task to don't. Okay, don't worry. Because yes, it is already handled properly, but only thing is we need to understand how promises works. So let's see, where is the value 101? Where is the value 101? Just expand it. Expand this promise. Observe carefully. You got the result, right? So maybe if it will show a pending state because we log that object whenever we invoke the promise constructor, right? So that's why you will see that pending object, but the actual state will be there inside the object. So if you see, what is that? Promise state is fulfilled and the result is 101. Okay, but how to see, how to get that result? Okay, the promise is an object and it is holding the two things. One is the state and one is the result. Okay, state, it is fulfilled, happy, I'm very happy, and we got the result also. But how to get that result? I want to see that result, and based on that result I need to take another action. So let's try. If you see, this is the promise, right? Can we try that promise result? Is it possible? Okay, if once you got the result, if you see console.log, console.log promise object dot promise result. No, okay, it's not possible because promises are beautiful things and it has a purpose, okay, for how it is behaving in that way. So if you want to get the result, if you want to get the result, again we need to do some action. So if you see whatever you say, this is like asynchronous call, and you got the result or failure, whatever it is, everything will be there in the promise object. Okay, everything will be there in the promise object. And now, if you want to see the result, you need to do one more thing. Okay, you can't get the result directly like promise object dot result or promise object dot error details. No, okay, those kind of properties are not there. You see, these are in this brackets. It's okay. These are not like object properties. Okay, it is just holding inside. Okay, we can't fetch the information of the state or this particular results directly. Okay, hope you guys understand. Okay, how to get the results? I need that one not one because if I get the user ID, I need to call the task 2. Okay, I need to call the task 2. So let's see, I need the result. So if you want to get the result, if you want to get the results, this is very simple. Okay, so if you're already using promises and the REST APIs, you know already. So if you see, this is the promise object. We have one more thing, a method called then. So if you see, you can't see this then method inside this object. So you are able to see somewhere. Okay, if you see, it is there in the prototype. Then finally and catch. The constructor, that is a constructor function that where you are passing that callback function. Do you remember what is constructor? Okay, this is the constructor function. Okay, this is the constructor function. And catch finally, and then okay, we are going to learn all the things. So this is the then, okay, that is there in the prototype of the promise. Okay, it is not the property of that object. Just remember, then is not a property of the object, then is a method inside the prototype. If you don't know what is prototype, what you need to do, just go back and watch the playlist or go back and watch access any namaste javascript so that you will get clarity. Okay, fine. No problem. So you know that from where it is coming then? It is coming from the prototype of this promise prototype. Okay, no, no worry. It's very easy. So then again, here two things are there. Here again we need to handle with callbacks. The first argument is for any promise object. Okay, if you want to see the result or if you want to see handle the error message, okay, you should use the then method. So that means then means okay, after completing this task one successfully, and then what I need to do, what I need to take the action. That's what the meaning. Okay, simple. So here it will give the result. Okay, result. Okay, here I told you that we need to pass two callback functions. Okay, here sometimes syntax is really tough. Okay, this is the method, and inside of that we are passing another callback function. Here we are passing another callback function. What the hell of this callback functions? But we don't have any option. If you want to learn JavaScript, yes, we should learn all these things. Okay, result. So if you see directly here, you can say you will get that result directly. Okay, after that, if you want to hand over to the task 2 or task 3, whatever you can do it. So because but the promise is giving the result. Here error message, error information, whatever, you can give any name for that the variable. And here we got the, if you get the error, if you get the error, it will provide the error info. Okay, if it is success, okay, you can put okay results, result of what it is, the task 1. That's what we are doing. So let's see. So if you see refresh, so initially it is pending. The everything is done in the call stack. Okay, and after some time, after 10,000 milliseconds, it will execute and it will give the information to that promise. Okay, then promise will take care of it. Okay, we should. I will explain in few minutes. So if you see after, if it is after successful, we got the result of the task one is 101. So now you can do anything with that result. So you got the result, you got the result. Now you can initiate, you can pass it to the task two. Okay, but here don't try to call another callback function or something. We need to learn how to chain the asynchronous task with the help of promises. So we are going to deal task 1 also with the help of promise, task 2 also promises, task 3 also promises, task 4 also promises, and the chaining between those tasks also with the help of promises. Then it's going to be very, very easy. So initially learning is somewhat difficult, but once you understand the syntax and how it is working, this is going to be very, very easy. Okay, understood? So if you see, the thing is, I will explain with the paint. The beautiful thing is, so console.log. So first, it will print start. Okay, and it is giving some object to you. That is a promise object. Okay, inside of that, what is there? Let it be. And after that, it is end. Okay, then JavaScript has done that task. That means the call stack. So you know, right? Whenever we start executing, it will create a global execution context. Whenever you call the function, it will create an execution context. Inside of that, we will do all the things, right? Already you have learned, if I'm not wrong. Otherwise, just please go back and watch the playlist. So if you see here, this is done. JavaScript went and then the things into the event loop, right? So if you want, I will draw it one more time. So I think my video is just occupying this space, right? So let me draw in a shorter way. Dun, 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 dun. So this is right. So whenever, okay, we can understand in this way instead of drawing. So if you see, it will after 10,000 milliseconds. Okay, we don't know, right? If you call the task one, so right now it is taking 10,000 milliseconds. That means 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds, okay, you are getting sending the request to the server, and after 10 seconds, you will get the result from the server. Either it is the results, means success message, or the expected results, or exception, or error, or something, whatever it is. So what we are doing, we are not going to give those details to the task 2 directly. So what we are doing, we are just storing those details into the same object. So carefully, we are giving everything to the same object. But here, JavaScript has designed these promises in a beautiful way. So we are not going to worry about that. So here what we did, here we attached one more thing that is called then. Okay, it is called then. Okay, internally it has something. So in that then, if it is successful, we should call this first callback. If it is a failure, we should invoke the second callback. Okay. So right now we no need to worry about this thing. JavaScript will take care. Okay, JavaScript engine will take care. So maybe if we got the result at 10,000 milliseconds or 50,000 milliseconds, doesn't matter. So once you got the result, if it is successful, suppose if it is successful, that means if it is a green color, automatically it will invoke this one. Automatically it will invoke this one. Suppose if it is the red, if it is red, means you got the error message, automatically it will invoke this one. Okay, understood? What is this? This one. So where is that? This then object is there now. This is the first callback function. This is the successful callback one. This is the failure one. So the JavaScript will take care of automatically. You no need to worry about that. That is the promise. Promise means trust, right? If you give a promise to your father or mother, you should be strict to fulfill that, right? If it is something went wrong, you don't need to worry. You should explain to the parents that, okay, unfortunately, I didn't fulfill the promise. No problem. Then they will take some action. That if it is successful, they will give some gift. If it is failure, they will give some motivation. Okay. Apart from that, they don't do anything. Yeah. So super. So this is happening asynchronously. If you see, so JavaScript after executing the first line and after invoking that, after doing that console.log end, so JavaScript call stack is empty. Call stack is going to be empty. Okay, call stack is going to empty. Nothing is there. So, but after some time, the results will come, and at the time you are not there. You're not checking the status whether it is fulfilled or not, whether it is happened, whether you got the result at 9,000 milliseconds or 10,000 milliseconds or 5,000 milliseconds. So you can't sit and wait for that, right? So whenever you got the result, automatically it will trigger the equivalent or relevant callback function. That's the beauty of promises. Understood? No? No? Okay, no problem. If you don't understand, only thing is just do a practice. The first one is the practice, and second one is just read the documentation. Yes, definitely, because it's not the easiest thing. Okay, easiest thing, and of course, I'm going to explain each and everything. Just watch this one or two times and do practice. It's going to be very easy. And still, if you don't understand, just ping me in the comment section that Raghu, I didn't understand. Explain with one more a simpler example. So I will try. Okay, but before that, before deciding that you didn't understand, please read the documentation. Okay, simple definitions. Simple. Here I will tell you one thing. Here one super statement is there. Okay, if you see.